A lot of genre purists consider the 1970s to be the single best decade for horror ever, and that includes myself. I think from start to finish, that was the best year for the genre because you had so much great stuff, a lot of diverse quality, a lot of stuff coming into its own. Because remember the 1960s, that was the MPAA ratings board coming on, and basically kind of putting the kibosh on major censorship of motion pictures so you could run free to be as violent and sexual as you want. And we definitely saw that get going early and often. But at the beginning of the 1970s, I think anything before, let's see, Last House on the Left may have been like the first major cornerstone. So everything before 1972, I think, not a whole lot of great transcendent stuff. Some maybe possible exclusions. We'll get to those momentarily. But by and large, horror in the early 1970s was kind of a continuation of horror in the late 1960s. So it's a lot of stuff where you're kind of seeing sort of the rehashing of the slasher formula, and you're also seeing a little bit of the low-budget supernatural monster creature feature. And our installment for day 14 of 31 Days of Horror-Ween is in the latter category. From 1970, it's Daniel Haller. This is the Dunwich Horror of 1970. Produced by American International Pictures, obviously based on the on the book by, or short story rather, by H.P. Lovecraft. And it has a lot of things in common with that story, such as the name and nothing else, from what I've heard. So anyway, pretty straightforward story. It's a movie about this guy who's going to university. It's supposed to be like a stand-in for an Ivy League school. And he goes in there and he finds the Necronomicon and he tries to steal it. And he wants to read, some sort of demonic poem or something like that. And basically what he does is he reads it, and then he ends up, getting this one girl to come over to his house, and his grandpa, like, date rapes her. Like, he drugs her, and then, like, we see, like, her entire, like, encounter to be, like, through some sort of, like, weird, like, techno disco, like, LSD psychedelic acid trip. I mean, it's so 1970s. It's just completely, of its time, just of that essence. And, there's a ton of subplots after that. And basically what we find out is that, the guy who tried to steal the Necronomicon, not necessarily evil, but his grandpa, who may or may not actually be his grandpa, is actually the really, really evil dude. And he's basically trying to get a hold of the book so he can conjure up the devil and do a whole bunch of virgin sacrifices and just do more psychedelic mind rape. So all that to say, you got a lot of stuff going on. It's got a pretty good cast. You've got Dean Stockwell, you've got Talia Shire from the Rocky movies, pre-Rocky in this movie. You've got Ed Begley, Sandra Dee. So I mean, you do have a pretty good cast here, but the film itself just doesn't go anywhere. I mean, the acting is decent, but they don't really have much dialogue to work with. I mean, all the characters are just really overdeveloped, I think, a little bit too multi-dimensional and straightforward. Well, not multi-dimensional, like one-dimensional and straightforward. And there's really nothing about this movie that's all that memorable. I mean, this is one of those movies where when you watch a lot of genre movies, when you're trying to do something like this, it's one of those things where you forget everything about the movie like 20 minutes afterwards. Like, I had to go back and read the Wikipedia article to do this video. Even though I watched a couple days ago, I can't remember like the fine details of the movie. It's that forgettable. And that tells you about the impact this movie's made on me, because it just isn't there. It's very generic. Very, very by the books. I mean, there are some slight deviations with the script. I mean, the visuals are pretty cool. I guess cinematography's alright. But overall, there's nothing in the story you haven't seen before, except better in a whole lot of other movies. And, there's way better H.P. Lovecraft adaptations out there than this one. This one is just bland and underwhelming and kind of a waste of everybody's time. So using our patented tofu dog rating system, I'm going to give this one a very disappointing 1.5 tofu dogs. So not really what you need to go out of your way to check out for any reason whatsoever. But stay tuned, because tomorrow we're going to keep the 1970s theme rolling with day 15 of 31 Days of Horror-Ween. This morning we're going to take a look at a pre-Texas Chainsaw Massacre sort of Gorno torture porn pioneer, which actually does have many aesthetic and thematic similarities with Tobe Hooper's more infamous movie, which raises the question, Did the movie we're going to watch tomorrow directly inspire Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Did Tobe Hooper rip it off? We'll get to that tomorrow, folks. We'll get to that tomorrow.